and it says that it is, however, necessary to point out that the very large number of instances in which Moroccan laws were referred to.
You can pretend to claim domiciles all day long, Pauline, but it doesn't mean a damn thing. You haven't taken over First Avenue, Pauline. You haven't taken over First Avenue, Pauline. Doesn't matter how much you claim it, you dumb bitch.
Let me get rid of that.
Doesn't matter how much you claim that you think you've taken over a domicile, Pauline. You can't take over First Avenue. I'm not angry at you.
Hold on. Just one moment. Let me just find out where that is. They are big mad. I'm telling you, big mad. Hold on, y'all. Because we got it. Just one moment. I'm going to... Go ahead, Empress. You can start 6, Empress.
You can claim domicile.
Go ahead.
Okay, here I am. It states, it is, however, necessary to point out that a very large number of instances in which Moroccan laws were referred to in the United States authorities can readily be explained as a covenant way of ensuring their incorporation in ministerial decrees binding upon the consular courts. In that way, and in that way only, could these laws be made enforceable as against United States nationals, so long as the extended consular jurisdiction was being exercised. And he was...
Empress, tell us where that is again. Because that's the key right there.
You can claim domiciles all you want, Pauline. It doesn't mean a hill of beans, you dumb cunt.
Look how mad. Look how mad. We love them. We love them. We love them. Go ahead, Empress.
No problem. It's in the ICJ, International Court of Justice, case concerning rights of nationals of the United States of America in Morocco.
Yes.
And I'll put it in the chat. Let me see if I can send file in the chat. I don't know if I can or not. No, I don't look like I can. I'll figure it. I'll try and do it. But yes, the brothers from Colorado, they were going over that, and their most recent video on YouTube, it was powerful, very, very powerful. And
yes, that's Justice J. Jermaine Bay and the AMPAC.
Yep.
The Al-Moroccan Moorish Pradium anti-Colorado government.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've connected. We've had some correspondence back and forth. They're just very powerful group there.
Very, very powerful.
Yeah. Very well versed in international law. And just very powerful. So yes, and they've actually been spending quite a bit of time on that specific case, which is great because that's kind of sort of where everything left off with the consular court in the 50s. And then now we're picking back up again with all of that, which is why we're doing the voting and things that we're doing. Okay, because our consular courts, our courts have to be active on the land. And so the votes that we've been taking, again, consular court and Congress is all the same. It's the same. Everything that we do as a Congress here on these calls is consular court actions, and that's why we generally open with all rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity, because these are court actions. And we speak by affidavit, spoken and written, and we also, everything that we do is court law, is law. And it has to be. It has to be. so that it is binding on the states. And when I say the states, I am talking about the territories and the different Moorish states. That's beautiful, Empress, that you brought that forth. We are going to definitely pay close attention to that piece. It's going to come in handy, and we have to know also the difference between the United States Corporation Company, the dead one, and the original United States in all lowercase letters. The United States in all lowercase letters is just from states that are united. And in our case, it is Moorish states that were united, that are united.
Islam.
Islam is
question. I do watch the Colorado Moors also because I feel everybody has something to offer. We're all one family, and
yes.
But one thing that keeps coming up that I'm still not satisfied with they speak of going to the ICJ and the United Nations to resolve the Moors' problems. And so I see those groups as, the hybrids, and can the hybrids tell us how to govern our land? It just I don't mean to be, to disturb anything or to be disharmony, but I need to know the real answers. And so do we have a group of Moors, that we don't know about that have been running things behind the scenes, that type of thing? So I just need to know.
Okay.
Any idea?
I have the answer to that. Yes, I have the answer to that. We are the ICJ. We are the International Court for Justice. Period. How do I know that? I know that because no one can govern our land but us. That's why you're feeling uncomfortable with that, Empress. And you should feel uncomfortable with that. And I will tell you this, I felt uncomfortable too. There are other Moors who are doing this same work that we're doing. And we have been, in the past, shielded from knowing that they're doing this work too. Because there's been a purposeful and meaningful reason to have us feel like we're disconnected. And that was to make sure that when we do stand, that we're standing on our own merit and not looking to someone else to do the work. So the Moors that are doing, for example, any type of international court business, we had not known about any who were doing the same types of court actions that we're doing. And that's on purpose. That's so that we can be as powerful and as sovereign as we can be and not look to anyone else to do it. And that's another reason why we said what we said about the Constitution, the territorial constitutions that are being placed on the record by the Moors now. It doesn't matter if someone else in your territory has done it, you do it, so that you know what the law says as we move forth in claiming properties and standing up our commerce and all of that. We need to know the law with regard to that. And we don't need to look to anyone else to do it, not even our Moors who are in our territory. We need to know. Each one of us is a strong tower, standing, sovereign. And I'll say this, that the reason that that's so vital is because whenever we're tested, we're always by ourselves, seemingly. The ancestor is always with us, and our whole state is with us. But when the test comes, generally there are not a whole bunch of other Moors around, and even if they are, we have to stand sovereign and know what we're talking about. My most heated test that I've had to date, I was by myself, so to speak. Of course the ancestors were there. They held back the madness, from within us, because the ancestors are within us. So Yeah, we're the court. We're the international courts for justice. We're the only ones who can bring justice on the land. And that is why every war is a justice. The whole earth knows that already. The whole earth knows that every last one of us is the law. We're all the law, and the government, and the state, and the nation, law enforcement. And that's why, again, all Moors are postmaster generals. All Moors are justices. All Moors are bankers. All Moors are landlords and lords for the land. All Moors are all of that. All at once. That's what sovereign means. That is absolutely what sovereign means. It means that everything is encompassed within each one of us. And in order for that to be effective for us, we have to be strong enough to stand whether there are 10 Moors around us or no Moors around us that we can see. So, yes, you should feel a little uncomfortable about that, but be comforted in that we're it. We are they. We are the International Court for Justice. And that's why it's important for our courts to be active, because just like the Empress read, it's only by consular venue that anything happens. No lands are, see, this is the crazy part about even the fake courts. And now they're not even fake anymore. Those fake courts are gone, and it's now inferior courts that are left. The inferior courts were doing consular stuff the whole time, whether they knew it or not, because we were never citizens going up in those places previously. And that's why they would denationalize whenever Moors went into those places, into those corporate courts. They would denationalize and use a citizen instrument. And if the Moor thought that citizen instrument was them and they didn't say who they really are, then there were consequences for that. They were never supposed to be governing anything that had to do with this land and the Moors. That's our job. So there is no International Court of Justice that's made up of anybody that's not Moors. That does not exist. We're sitting right here, governing and judging. And that's also why we're getting the experiences that we're getting with issuing judgments and justice and doing court actions even over the phone and all of that. Anytime we're speaking, it's a court action, I'm telling you. Anytime, even if you pick up the phone and you call a cell phone company like I did this week, that was, they were the office of. I'm the CEO, and I had to tell them that, and I told them, and they got it. Okay, so, and I did 2 court actions, and they did right after the second court action because they didn't want me to do a third one, because 3 times is the spell. And they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Or else I would not be talking to you on this phone right now. I'm on my cell phone coming into the call. I would not, because, you know, but they have to do what we command them to do. We know that. And so, you know, any international issue, and here's the thing, we're already doing international court business already. Anytime you're speaking to subjects or those custodians, that's international business because they're not the same nationality as you. We're already the International Court for Justice, period. And now all we're doing is starting to hone in on the effectiveness and knowing the nuances and the law with regard to how the land and all of that is to be governed. So that's going to be our erudition that we both give and receive, you know, from this point, which brings up the document that I want to place on our table today. Because again, the Constitution, the territorial constitutions, and the county charters that we are rewriting and putting on the public record and sealing and stamping have everything to do with our dominions, our rule, and all that has to do with us, where land is concerned. So I want to show you basically where in the record, because I saw something on the internet. Let me see. I saw something on the that we needed to look up and know about. Where land is concerned. And here it is on the screen. I wanted to show you. And I'll put the link to this in the chat so that you all can see it for yourselves. Where's my bat? Okay. So, again, when we're talking about capitalism and land and commerce, you know, we've been talking about how we have taken fiduciary control over the capitalism that has to do with the Moors here on the land. We have each and all done that. Those who placed the fiduciary document on the public record, along with the 6 actions that precede fiduciary election. And when I say election, we have to look that word up to know that election is actually us selecting ourselves, okay, for fiduciary duty. Because as sovereigns, that's, again, within us and within our authority anyway. So, well, we're talking about the letters and the way the letters are written and everything is put in blue or red. This document that's on the screen, it's the letter patents of King Henry VII granted unto John Cabot and his 3 sons, Louis, Sebastian, and Sanctius, for the discovery of new and unknown lands. Now, we know that all kings who did things like this were Moors. We know that already. Okay? So when you hear about the discoverer this and the discoverer that, that was Moors sending people over here to discover lands and claim the land. And when I say sending people over here, they were already here too. They were just in different parts of our dominions here. So the original England is over here. But when I say over here, I mean on this American landmass. Sussex, Middlesex, England, Westminster, all of that is up near Massachusetts and all of that. That's where, and Boston and all of that, that's where all of that started. That is England. So when you go back to old England and you see these old records and documents and them talking about post offices and taking over land and all of that stuff, that all happened here on this landmass first, and then they took it over there, just like everything else. So this King Henry, I just want to bring to your attention what he says here about the land and about the titles. This lets you know that titles belong to the sovereigns only. We don't care what Christopher Columbus, they claim that he did. We don't care about what they're claiming. What we care about is who has the title. And we know that the nobility has the title. So here it says, be it known that we have given, oh, and this is written in Old English, by the way. It says, be it known that we have given and granted, and by these presents do give and grant for us and our heirs, us and our heirs, to our well-beloved John Cabot, citizen of Venice, to Louis, Sebastian, and Sancius, sons of the said John, and to the heirs of them, and every of them, and their deputies, full and free authority, leave, and power to sail to all parts, countries, and seas of the east, of the west, and of the north, under our banners and ensigns, with fine ships of what burthen or quantity soever they be, and as many mariners or men as they will have with them in the said ship, upon their own proper costs and charges, to seek out, discover, and find whatsoever isles, countries, regions, and provinces of the heathen and infidels, and we've heard those terms before, heathens and infidels, whatsoever they be, and in what part of the world soever they be, which before this time have been unknown to all Christians, we have granted to them, and also to every of them, the heirs of them, and every of them, and their deputies, and have given them license. So when you're talking about Christians, you're talking about them needing a license to do things, okay? And this is the more saying, Christians, you need a license under our banner to be discovering things, okay? To set up our banners and ensigns in every village, town, castle, isle, or main land of them newly found, and that the aforesaid John and his sons and their heirs and assignees may subdue, occupy, and possess. It doesn't say own. It doesn't say that it belongs to them. It says subdue, occupy, and possess all such towns, cities, castles, and isles of them found, which they can subdue, occupy, and possess as our vassals and lieutenants. And again, they were working for us, getting unto us the rule, title, and jurisdiction of the same villages, towns, castles, and from land and firm land so found. What is this saying? This is saying that anything that any one is saying, we discovered this and we discovered that, that doesn't mean ownership. It just means occupy, but we have the title, we rule it, we govern it, okay, and we have sovereign jurisdiction over it, period. All kings worked for us. They are of us. They are us. Okay. So those stories that you hear with the, the pale faces and things like that, those are not the kings. Those are not real kings. Those are not real photos. Those are paintings and photos that were reconstructed. And that's what the reconstruction periods were all about. It's the same thing they did at the Vatican. Paint out the brown skin and paint it pale and pink. And that's not I'm not trying to, denigrate anyone. It's what it is. And so these lands the rule, title, and jurisdiction, that's since time immemorial. Okay, since time immemorial. This was done in 1498. Just a moment, let me verify that. Yes, because this is 15th century. So this was actually done on February 3rd, 1498. And we know that there were Moors doing all of this. This is in Avalon's Yale website because it's referencing these lands. Okay, this is before Seta KB. Okay, in 1666. This is before all of that. And so, having said that, this is yet another document that says that those who were doing business over here claiming to have jurisdiction over Moors never had it and never will, because there's no end date to this. We are the original crown. We are the original England. All of that happened here. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because we were the first United States also. In other words, we were the states united. Okay? And so what the Empress read earlier about the United States, that's referring to the foreigners that we hired, because they couldn't be here unless we hired them. Okay? And then consent is also hiring. So when we supposedly consented to be citizens, that's like hiring somebody and saying, you present me, when we never meant that to be the case. Okay? So I'm bringing this up because, again, rule, title, and jurisdiction belongs to the Moors. So these constitutions that we put on the public record and that we're going to continue putting them, the territorial constitutions that we're putting on the public record, that then makes it so that we can now look in the code, the public laws and the public statutes, which were court actions, by the way. So there's one I want to point out to you. Let's see. Because we have done a document. This document that we're placing on the table is found at the 16th Congress, Session 1, Chapter 51. And again, everything that we're doing it in the favor of the Moors. So let me go ahead and bring this one up. So that we can look at it, because it's directly related to not only lands, but these constitutions that we're placing on the public record. This is the next step in the proper claiming of land. Because again, we were asked about we were asked about domiciles And so we want to continue to answer that question about the claiming of domiciles. You must have the constitutions on the public record for the territory as well as the overarching constitution. And then you also need to have the county charters on the public record. And again, we don't use theirs, we rewrite it. So let me go back to
Islam Empress.
Islam.
I was just further meditating on the previous passage I had read from the ICJ, and I was going and thinking about the fact that the Sultan, when he delegated the authorities to the other peoples of the other nations, as it were, to keep in order as the UCCs, Uniform Commercial Codes, how they apply to keeping things uniform, it was also delegated to other powers to keep in order. And so that would be the quote-unquote ICJ. So they're only doing and acting on behalf of the Moors, if anything, on their powers that they sit there in those seats of office that really do belong to the Moors. And so they have been doing a phenomenal job in keeping those seats, warm and cozy, but still doing the job that was given them, that the Sultan did give them to, keep things in order, because that's their job. And so when referring to those ICJ seats, we all need to keep in mind that those are seats that need to be filled by Moors, for the whole vast estate Morocco.
Yes, absolutely. And believe it or not, we're already filling them. That's what we're doing here. I know it may not feel like that's what we're doing, but we are. We're already doing the work. Period. Because this is how the work is done. All we're doing is showing that we're competent to govern.
And it states that in that instrument, it states competent jurisdiction, and so that's all that is required, and that's what we have to show forth, competency.
Yes. And that is why everything we do, we point straight to the law.
Yep.
We point to the law and we say, this is where this came from. This is why we're doing what we're doing. And we have every authority and right within us to do the things that we're doing.
Islam, Yaqub Ali here.
Yes.
Could we have the date and the declaration that this is a consular court action? Islam.
Oh, Islam. I put it in the chat already, and I'll repost it again. It's yes, I'll post it again.
Okay.
Islam.
Thank you, Mobility.
You're welcome.
What were you saying, Justice Yaqub? Because your line went out, so we could barely hear you.
At the beginning, when we turned on the recording,
it's a little bit better. It's a little bit staticky though.
Okay, at the beginning when we turned on the recording, we did not actually state the date, nor did we declare that it's a consular court action.
Okay,
we didn't do the
I'll
usual.
go ahead and finish that up. It's intended, but I'll go ahead and do that right now. Thank you for that. Because I realized we didn't say the whole thing, but let's go ahead and do that and put it on the record. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American court action. We are the sovereign living justices in capitis nationall, in written, in proprio persona juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredes. Our free chosen sovereign appellations are in capitis in nationall, in red ink, in Tokyo, Cassano, Jure, in Tokyo, Poland, and Tokyo, Jerez. All Moors are the original indigenous, sovereign, ancient Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith, trust, allegiance, credit, and energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural divine, ancient empire state of Morocco, and the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are the universal Moorish American consulate and the Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, not so tongue. Thank you, nobility, for that. So I want to show you this congressional record. Here it is. Let me see. Let me get this.
Islam, Empress.
Yes, Islam.
This is my first time on your conference call. I'm Harold Moorishe Bay, Tennessee Territory. Yes, I haven't. I've watched you off and on. I've been around a lot of different information from a lot of different places, but I've got an issue that I wanted to get your lien document because it appears I may get my house demolished, and I want to at least do that much. I guess I hadn't done it competently because there's no one here, you know, that I can exchange information with that I know of. So, but it just I wanted to get that lien document before conference. Thanks.
Okay. Have you gone under the video out on YouTube, because there are lien documents there?
Yes, I've seen them, but I didn't know that the lien document was there. I got to look through them. Okay.
Yeah, it's there. We make sure that we put it under there for those who, you know, who need to find those documents, because it's important that the documents be shared and put on the public record and all of that, and that we are all using the same process.
Is that where the county and the state charters or constitutions go?
Yes. Yes. We generally put them under the videos. Yes.
I mean, once we go, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once we go through them and get out all of the what you call it, the errors or the corruptions. Once we get that done, where do we send it?
You place it on the public record, and then you notify everyone who might have an interest in that document. For example, those custodians in the office of the governor, the custodians in the office of the Secretary of State, the custodians in the office of police chief and all of that, because those are our offices, and we need to notify our offices of what's happening with regard to the land.
I see. Islam.
Yeah. And then also any inferior court. The lien is going to be very important where inferior courts are concerned, because either they are going to act like corporations or they're going to act like subjects. You must get them in subject status, and that's not a choice for them. It's something we do by liening, terminating all corporate contracts and liening them, and then doing court actions so that that corporate covering is off of them, so that we put our own covering over them, and then they behave in subject status like we've shown and demonstrated.
Islam.
Okay.
Islam.
And then
Brother, I have I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Empress.
Well, I was going to ask, did you also get your nationality declaration and all of those affairs in order already first as well?
Oh yes, I did the there's different ways to do it. I got the document from Harvey Bay and I sent it to Secretary of State, President, the International Court of Justice, and all of the locations I was suspended, and I've done my natal chart, my natal record with the state of the Secretary of State of Tennessee, and so I've got my trust, and I've done an allodial title. So I don't know.
You want to do a lien on the non jure war names? You want to do a lien on that and the social?
That's what I was about to do, but I was going to do it from the attorney, kind of like from the SEC standpoint. In other words, do the UCC file. And I wound up reading what Todd is saying about not leaning that way, not going back into the UCC and filing it, not going back into what you're trying to get out of. Yeah.
So what he's saying, let me clarify that, because he and I have had that conversation previously about what we're doing. And what we're doing, and he's absolutely right about filing UCCs in a debtor system. That's what he's saying. Don't go and file their forms. And we say the same thing. We agree with him 100%, because you can't stop debt with more debt. And when you use their forms, you're just creating more debt. We speak by affidavit. So our and the difference between ours and theirs too is theirs is uniform commercial code. It's a form of it. Ours are universal commercial code affidavits. An unrebutted affidavit stands as law. We speak by affidavit, and ours are court actions, by the way. So when you're seeing people do things like quote-unquote bankruptcy court and all of that, we're already doing financial and judicial banking and judicial court actions with the liens that we do. So they're done by affidavit and by court action. That's the difference. And they're done on government letterhead by the fiduciaries for the state.
Now, would that be the fiduciary for the state would be me?
Us. Yes, you. Yes, you. Yes. Absolutely.
I got some work to do again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you're so powerful, and your work is just to discover your power, how much power we have, and then make it manifest on paper competently.
Islam. And one more thing, don't forget to lien the people who claim to be able to demolish your house, because you had stated that was one of your things you needed to resolve. So don't forget to lien even the people who surveyed your land to do that demonstration. I mean, demolishing your house or whatever. Lien all of them.
Thank you, Empress.
Am I out of order now? I mean, do I need to do something before I lien them? Do I need to do the fiduciary document, or can I just go? Because actually, I have they knocked my door down, and I know they did it because they're very corrupt here, and they have demolished a Avion's house. It's called Environmental Court, and this particular court.
Yes, you need to do the fiduciary document before you lien them. Do that and send it all together.
Send it all together.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, that needs to be done immediately because all of the things that people have been trying to scare us away from, it's rightfully so to be a little. If someone is claiming to be black, you should be scared to do liens and things like that. You should, because you don't have the authority to do them in black status. But when you're the government and the state is actually supposed to be lenient. That's our job. That is our job. To stop all corrupt commerce on our land and then implement the proper commerce on our land. And we're going to do that today. We're going to put another nail in that coffin today. Okay. So I brought up on the screen, I found what I was looking for on the screen. Let me go ahead and put this up. So remember, we're saying that everything is a court action that they were doing. All treaties were court actions. All public statutes and all of that was court actions as well. So let's prove that, and then we're going to take the document and do a court action and publish it our way. So this is going to show you how fiduciaries do commerce and make things happen in terms of our vast estate. Okay, so first let's look at the way the corporates did it. This here on the screen, it says by authority of Congress, and you can see the page here. It's 1820, April 24th, 2003. Someone put, April 24th, 1820 is when this was done initially. And this is 3 Stat 566, the sale of public land. Okay. So you've heard people talk about public land and then private land, etc. It says here, by authority of Congress. Now remember, we're going to put the same document, but we're going to produce it ourselves and generate it and put it on the public record if you all agree that it should go on the public record. So look at what they did here. By authority of Congress, the public statutes at large of the United States of America from the organization of the government in 1789 to March 3rd, 1845. Arranged in chronological order with references to the matter of each act and to the subsequent acts on the same subject, and copious notes of the decisions of the courts of the United States, construing those acts and upon the subjects of the laws. That means the courts are putting something on the subject, construing those acts and upon the subject of the laws, with an index to the contents of each volume and a full general index to the whole work in the concluding volume, together with the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution of the United States. So this is, they're describing here the layers in which law is put on the public record and then followed. Okay, so the Constitution had to be put on the record first, which we did that. The Declaration of Independence and the Articles of the Confederation, those go on the public record too, even by us, except we put them in red and all lowercase letters, and we're declaring our independence for ourselves. Okay, and again, this is independence from all courts. It's just another termination of corporate contracts, the way we will word it. Okay, and we can consider that already done on the public record. The Articles of the Confederation, and ours will be the Articles for Confederation and the Constitution for the United States. So again, all of the public statutes are done by court action, and it's done by the states united, which is us. And these documents, in order for this that we're about to read in order for it to be implemented and then acted on by quote unquote, and it wouldn't be law enforcement because we're the law enforcement, but in order for it to be enforced as law, these things had to come first. And so that's the order that we're taking to put the documents on the public record. We've placed the Constitution on the public record. Now we're placing territorial constitutions on the public record. And then we're placing county charters on the public record, okay? And so where land is concerned, then we can look at the public statute and start pulling cherry picking from it and putting things on the public record that work in our favor, okay? And so it says here also the tables in the last volume containing lists of the acts related to the judiciary, impost and tonnage, the public lands, etc. Okay? And this was done not by an attorney, but by an esquire, a consular at law. And again, when we put things on the record, consuls must do it. It must be done by the consuls and the justices. So now let's look at what's put here, because this is what we are going to vote on and place on the table. It says, but we're going to write it ourselves, okay? This is Chapter 51, an act making further provision for the sale of the public land. And the reason we are putting this on the public record is so that we can begin using delarium to do what needs to be done with regard to the sale of public land. Okay. It says, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. In Congress assembled. That's what we're doing right now. That from and after the first day of July next, all the public lands of the United States, the sale of which is or may be authorized by law, shall, when offered at public sale, to the highest bidder, be offered in half-quarter sections. And when offered at private sale, may be purchased at the option of the purchaser, either in entire sections, half sections, quarter sections, or half-quarter sections. And in every case of the division of a quarter section, the line for the division thereof shall run north and south, and the corners and contents of half-quarter sections, which may thereafter be sold, shall be ascertained in the manner and on the principles directed and prescribed by the second section of an act entitled An Act Concerning the Mode of Surveying the Public Lands of the United States. So the brother that was talking about his domicile, and the Empress suggested that you lean those who surveyed and all of that, this is going to cover that. And then you do want to do exactly as the Empress said, lean them. But we're putting this on the public record in support of you and in support of all Moors where property is concerned. This is why this is so important for us as the Congress to put these types of documents on the public record. It's important that we do this. So it says here, an act concerning the mode of surveying the public lands of the United States passed on the 11th day of February, and this will be for us the April the 3rd, 1443 on the ancient moon calendar, and fractional sections containing 160 acres or upwards shall in like manner as nearly as practicable be subdivided into half-quarter sections under such rules and regulations as may be prescribed by the Secretary of the Treasury or the Treasurer, which, we're all the Secretary of the Treasury for our own Treasury. But fractional sections containing less than 160 acres shall not be divided but shall be sold entire, provided that this section shall not be construed to alter any special provision made by the law for the sale of land in town lots. Islam and
there's a disturbance. It's hard to hear. It's like a background noise.
Okay, hold on for just a moment. I'm going to have to mute someone because there's some feedback coming. from one of the lines. Okay. I found it, Empress. Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. It says, Section 2, and be it further enacted that credit shall not be allowed for the purchase money on the sale of any of the public lands which shall be sold after the first day of July. And it'll be, this will be May, actually. But every purchaser of land sold at public sale thereafter shall on the day of purchase make complete payment thereof. And again, with Delarium, we can do that. And the purchaser at private sale shall produce to the register of the land office a receipt from the Treasurer of the United States or from the receiver of public monies of the district for the amount of the purchase money on any tract before he shall enter the same at the land office. And if any person being the highest bidder at public sale for a tract of land shall fail to make payment therefore, on the day on which the same was purchased, the tract shall be again offered at public sale on the next day of sale, and such person shall not be capable of becoming the purchaser of that or any other tract offered at such public sales. Let me say just a little bit about this really quickly before we read Section 3. Now, we know that this doesn't have anything to do with citizens simply because everything had to be paid up front. And remember more, when those who got mortgages, when we thought we were citizens, and we signed those mortgage papers, it was paid for already within 3 days of us signing that. It was actually paid as soon as we signed. Okay. But then they said, okay, we're going to do some double booking and we're going to create some debt and create some treasury bonds and we're going to commit some fraud and we're going to make them pay for it on top of getting the whole amount from the treasury. Well, we know we're the treasury. So remember when we were saying more that we need to be doing these exchanges between us and each other because that's the treasury and all of that. So now when you do this type of an exchange on the public record, the brother who has the domicile, hopefully you have access to some Delarium, some gold-backed Moorish sovereign money. If you don't, put your email address in the chat and I will send some to you. I'll send you some money, some Delarium.
Thank you.
Because we have to show that a competent exchange has taken place on the public record. And that exchange, it doesn't say anything about a bank here. It says the treasury. So we know all of that. That's why mortgages and all of that was not that was not valid. It says a receipt from the Treasurer of the United States and from the receiver of public money of the district for the amount of the purchase money on any tract. And if you look on any domicile documents that are on the quote-unquote tax assessor websites and things, they talk about the tract and they give a description of that tract. Well, those things were supposed to be paid for up front. They were supposed to be paid for up front. It says from the Treasurer of the United States or from the receiver of public monies of the district for the amount of the purchase money on any tract before he shall enter the same at the land office. And I did notice with regard to a land office, I noticed that here, for example, at Olympia, which is our ancient capital, they have a public lands office, a building, a whole building dedicated to the public land. That is where we should have been sending things, not to any corporation or any tax assessor. The tax assessor was supposed to be getting their information from the public land office or from the Department of Commerce or something. They should have been getting their information from there in order to assess a tax on land, because we're not taxed. Our land is not taxed. And we were to notify them also, okay? So in your territory, most likely at the capital, there's going to be a public lands office. That is actually where land documents were supposed to be going for the allodial mowers, because we do the exchange up front, and we pay for it up front. And when I say pay, we're not buying our own land. All we're doing is following the law with regard to accountability for the land. Okay. So let's go on to Section 3, because again, when you talk about competent court action, this is what competence means. We've been saying all along that everything we have is prepaid. Well, we actually have to prepay it. And now we have the delarium to do that with. This is where delarium comes in at, where lands and things like that. And you cannot mix this with that corporate stuff. They just have to be notified. And the reason we notify them is we're doing court actions telling them cease and desist anything that has to do with our land. That's it. But we actually had to look at it, and this is where competence, this is how you demonstrate competence. First, you find it in the law. Well, first you declare your nationality. That's the most competent thing anybody can do. Declare who you really are on the land. Do the 6 actions, which is the name change, the judicial proclamation, the termination of corporate contracts, a lien on the social and the non-de jure war name that was issued fraudulently by the United States Corporation Company, and then do a court action on those non-de jures and social. And again, your lien is a court action also. And then do the fiduciary document where you produce your own living state in instrument, which is in all caps. And it's all caps, and it can be in whatever color you want it to be in, but blue is admiralty. So when you're talking about land, you want to do things first in red, and our court actions at the top should always be in red. And then you can do things in blue after that where commerce is concerned. Okay? And that is how you properly, competently identify who you really are, knowing that you're not any name in all capital letters, but that those are things that you command. You have dominion over them as you create them. And that's what the fiduciary document does. It says we have our own. Okay? And then here it says, Section 3, and be it further enacted that from and after the 1st day of July next, the price at which the public land shall be offered for sale shall be $1.25 an acre. and now it says $1, and I want to point this out too. $1 is not a Federal Reserve debt note. $1 is a unit of measure. Okay? You're not facing demolition either, nobility in the chat. You're not facing that. A corpse is facing that. All you need to do is note for sure on the record that you're not their corpse and you've not consented to be their corpse. If you consent to be the corpse, then they proceed. Okay, but you need to do the fiduciary document and put it on the public record and all of that, okay? And then know that you're not their corpse. They're not talking to you. You need to know that. That's the most important thing of all, and that is the part where Moors tend to really kind of, that's where I've seen as an area that we need to take the opportunity to perfect, is knowing that they're not talking to us. They're not talking to us. So, again, as I was saying, $1.25 an acre That is not, that's not, it doesn't say one Federal Reserve debt note. It says $1. And let me just show you that, here, let me just show you something really quickly about that $1. So that you will see, because we have to overstand money, and we do overstand money. Let's see. Yes, 1 moment.
Islam, I just want to say one more thing while you look for what you're looking for. But when I was doing my process as far as reclaiming Malkachok, I noticed that the businesses doing business as like the corporate fiction for the county clerk and the city hall and things, they do not have any deeds on the record. And so that just is another thing to show that they can't claim the buildings for which we, the Moors, are supposed to have. Islam,
yes, Empress. That's, you know, that's why what we're doing is so important. We have to actually know that they don't have the authority to claim anything. And I'll say this about our subject. As this information is coming out, the subjects are getting in subject status and doing what needs to be done to move out of the way so that we can move forward and do the things we need to do. Doesn't mean that we won't be challenged sometimes, but we have, as long as we know who we are and we know that that we're the authority, they will be reprimanded. So here on the screen, again, we know that $1 is not a Federal Reserve note, it's a unit of measure. So here we have gotten this document witnessed by the inferior court. It states that 1 goldback Moorish sovereign denarian is equal to $1. 1 goldback Moorish sovereign denarian is equal to $1. So this is a Moorish sovereign denarian gold exchange rate. We've heard in the news recently about, you know, people claiming the gold standard and all this and that. Gold standard never went anywhere. It never went anywhere. As long as we've been on this landmass, it's been that for us. All we're doing is activating it, and we activated it years ago for us on the public record by court action. So that's our money that we use. That is our national currency. Okay, it doesn't mean that we can't use gold-backed United States dollars, because we can use gold-backed United States dollars if we choose to. Gold coins and all of that, we can use all of that. We just needed to have our own national currency, because all nations have their own currency, because we have to be self-sufficient within our own nation. And then we can go and do international things. But one of the prerequisites that we put in place for states and nations and governments is that you have to have a viable commercial presence within your own nation. And the only way to do that is to have our own money, okay? And we're going to demonstrate that. We're going to continue to demonstrate that, okay? And so that's what we're doing, is demonstrating who we really are, okay? Let me see. So let me go back to the document that we're reading here. Because what we're doing is setting it up, putting the competent documents in place and the competent congressional processes in place so that no one can say that we're not governing. And that's why we're doing it. We're doing it because that's what we're supposed to do. Okay. We're honoring our foremothers and forefathers by doing what we're doing. So here again it says that from and after the first day of July next, it says July next, but ours is tailored. The price at which the public land shall be offered for sale shall be $1.25 an acre, and at every public sale, the highest bidder who shall make payment as aforesaid shall be the purchaser. But no land shall be sold either at public or private sale for a less price than $1.25 an acre. You've heard on the news, just as a side commentary, you've heard of people, sometimes you can go through the records and you can see where someone got a building for $1. Or they got some land for $1. And it's like, well, wait a minute. How did they pull that off? All they did was use the law. Okay? And again, it was corporate. That was corporate stuff. We're putting it in place for us. It says, but no land shall be sold either at public or private sale for a less price than $1.25 an acre, and all the public land which shall have been offered at public sale before the first day of July next, and which shall then remain unsold, as well as the lands that shall thereafter be offered at public sale according to law, and remain unsold at the close of such public sale, shall be subject to be sold at private sale by entry at the land office at $1.25 an acre, to be paid at the time of making such entry as aforesaid. With the exception, however, of the land which may have been reverted to the United States for failure in payment, and of the heretofore reserved sections for the future disposal of Congress in the states of Ohio and Indiana, which shall be offered at public sale as hereinafter directed. Let me stop there for just a moment. Because the foreclosures and all of that type stuff was corporations supposedly putting this piece in place that says for failure of payment. It reverted to the United States for failure of payment, and of the heretofore reserved sections for the future disposal of Congress. Well, again, we are the states. We are the states united. We are the original indigenous United States. And anyone that is doing anything with land where dollarium is concerned, they need to be paying in dollarium for whatever it is that they get. And if they don't want to use dollarium, and I'm just saying this because that is our national currency, or United States gold, United States dollars, okay, and those are issued directly from the Treasury, and we're the Treasury too, we know that. That this word reverted is also a derivative of reversion, the word reversion. So we've done reversion of a state, and what we're doing here is further reversion of a state back to the Moors. That's all we're doing here. It says, Section 4, and be it further enacted that no lands which have reverted or which shall hereafter revert and become forfeited to the United States for failure in any manner to make payment shall, after the first day of July next, be subject to entry at private sale, nor until the same shall have been first offered to the highest bidder at public sale. And all such land which shall have been reverted before the said first day of July next, and we're actually going to put this into effect in the next 27 days, and we can actually do it not pro tunc, really. It says here, the first day of July next, and which shall then belong to the United States, together with the sections and parts of sections heretofore reserved for the future disposal of Congress. And again, this Congress has the authority to make the decisions where lands are concerned. Okay? Which shall, at the time aforesaid, remain unsold, shall be offered at public sale to the highest bidder, who shall make payment therefore in half-quarter sections at the land office for the respective district on such day or days as shall, by proclamation of the President of the United States, be designated for that purpose. And again, if you look on the public record, Morris, because see, we are seeing things here that's talking about, here, let's put this on the screen just so that we're clear about this President of the United States piece. This is why we were saying more to please get these 40-some documents, get them on the public record, because our prophet said everything was going to end up in the hands of the Moors, and that is so true. Here on the screen, Universal Sovereign Original Indigenous Ancient Moroccan Moorish American Sovereign President, and we spell it precedent because everything came from us. President, Sovereign Commanding Chief, Sovereign Provost Marshal. And again, we've said all Moors, put these documents on the public record. This document will be under this video so that you can see the language that was used in the document, and put it on the public record for you, so that you know who the real President of the United States is, or President for the United States. Okay? And again, President for the States United. That is what the United States the Constitution for the United States is all about. And then our subjects are the ones that we enforce the Constitution on. Enforce. Okay? And that is their soul. That's where they get a soul from. Is the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Articles of Confederation is their soul. And that's the soul of who they are. And that I heard that from them. So we have these on the public record. We have the witnesses by the lower court, the inferior court, and that's constitutionally inferior court according to Article 3. So as we're reverting these documents back to who we really are, let's see, where did the document go? Oh, here it is. As we're reverting these documents back to the Moors, and making sure that, again, this is competence where the claiming of lands is concerned. We have to show this competence, and for some people, they're thinking that this is unnecessary. No, it's necessary. That's why it's out here on the public record, because the European was going to be left here long enough to teach us how to govern. So we have to look at what they did, because ain't no sense getting mad at them about, the things that they've been doing if we're not willing to do the work. but we are willing to do the work. So again, we're talking about here, by proclamation of the President of the United States, be designated for that purpose. And all land which shall revert and become forfeited for failure of payment after the said first day of July next shall be offered in like manner at public sale at such time or times as the President shall by his proclamation designate for that purpose. We could set a 1-year mark and say that, or a 30-day or 60 or 90-day mark, and say that all lands that have not been paid for with delarium, by this time, the forfeiture, and it forfeits back to the board, to the state, which is us, and it will go on sale. Okay, and more, how do we protect what we have, even with these laws in place? A allodial title, a sovereign and competent exchange on the public record for the property in gold-backed Moorish sovereign delarium, and indemnis passier, which is insurance for the domicile, and notify any insurance companies, such as whoever those insurance companies are. You want to go to their website and take whatever documents they have on their website, put them in blue, tailor them to you and what you're doing, and then notify them that a court action has been done and that they are designated insurers for it, and send them some delarium along with the title and all of that to whoever it is, the custodians at whatever insurance company you choose. It says here, and all land shall revert back, which shall revert and become forfeited for failure of payment after the said first day of July next shall be offered in like manner at public sale at such time or times as the President shall by his proclamation designate for the purpose, provided that no such land shall be sold at any public sales hereby authorized for a price less than $1.25 an acre, nor on any other terms than that of cash payment. And where's the cash? The cash is in your email, the more email, so that you print it off, you print it out, and you use it. That's actually real cash coming from you. Because again, they were using our signatures to do those things that they were doing. So what are we doing? We're using our own sovereign autograph to get what we need. Okay? And it says here, and all the lands offered at such public sales and which shall remain unsold at the close thereof shall be subject to entry at private sale in the same manner and at the same price with the other lands sold at private sale at the respective land offices. Where's the land office? We're that too. Okay. And be it further enacted that the several public sales authorized by this act shall respectively be kept open for 2 weeks and no longer. And you do want to, by the way, notify any land officers, any title officers, any realtors, any of that. You want to notify all of them with all of these documents. And when I say all of these documents, I mean once you've placed the first 6 documents on the public record, then you send the fiduciary document and delarium with each and every demonstration that you do. Okay, and then you're going to notify any inferior court so wherever the property is located on your land, and this is where the county charters come in at. You will notify the county court, and they are to notify any agents, principals, heirs, assigns, or any derivatives thereof of what's been done. This is why the county charters are important, because the county charters that we're putting on the public record is going to say that the land is, that the property is on our land and it's not located at any corporation. Yes, in the chat, Justice Consul at UK Territory, he says, do we send the Larian to the provost marshal in the UK? Yes, you can do that. You can do that. And again, as long as documents are competent, which they are, then that's what's necessary. Court actions, court actions, court actions, and notify, notify, notify. Okay? Trying to do demonstrations without notifying Moors, and this is to everyone generally speaking, you need to notify everyone, and notify them at least once in writing, with your seal and a written autograph on the document. Okay, they need original documents because that activates our system. Original affidavits activate the ancient system. Forms activate their system, and it's a debtor system. So it will activate a bunch of debt. And that's why we don't use them. Okay? We want to activate our ancient system. It says here, Section 5, and be it further enacted that the several public sales authorized by this act shall respectively be kept open for 2 weeks and no longer, and the registers of the land office and the receivers of public money shall each respectively be entitled to $5 for each day's attendance thereon. Section 6, and be it for, and we can edit and adjust these according to our liking. And be it further enacted that in every case hereafter, in every case, that tells you that, again, everything is a court action. In every case hereafter, where 2 or more persons shall apply for the purchase at private sale of the same tract at the same time, the register shall determine the preference by forthwith offering the tract to the highest bidder. This was approved April 24th, 1820, and for us it's April the 3rd, if we choose to approve it, and that is the end of this. This is an act, and now, of course, we've taken this. We've taken this document and we put it on Moorish government letterhead, and we put it in blue. So this will show you how to go about putting, changing the constitution. Those who are putting territorial constitutions on the public record, when you pull up the state constitution and it's in that black ink and all of that, you just take it and you do it. You put it on government letterhead. And let me just see. Just one moment. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure that we put it on the screen. Okay. So here's the document, and again, we put it on Moorish government letterhead. We put the court action language in red, and then we put all of those sections in blue and put them on a document that's autographed and by us, and then we have these other witnesses on here as well. Okay. So do we want to? Is this having read this is the corporate version? Okay. Having read the corporate version, are there any questions about that need to be that we need to discuss prior to voting on it? to put it on the public record about that, so that we can begin the sovereign exchange back and forth of getting the land taken care of. Because I want to show you another step in the land process that we've shown it before, but we need to show it some more so that we can further hone in on being competent to do these types of demonstrations, the land demonstration.
Islam,
can you speak up just a little bit, because you sound really far away.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
It seems as though my my text is limited. I'm asking where I can put my processor because Facebook not allowing me to put my documents on the public record, and it seems like I'm overlooked. So, just a question. I know this has nothing to do with what you were saying, but I'm still curious.
It actually does, because we just said notify.
Well, yes, I just want to get mine on the public record. That's all right now. I've got my processes done. I've done the Supreme 6. I want to get them on the public record. The delirium is printed, done, everything. I'm going to start sending it to the email, to your email address. I just want to get this on the public record first so that I can continue.
You're going to send what to my email?
The delirium, each month.
Oh, yes. And again, that's not mandatory. That's just if you want to donate to what we're doing.
Well, I want to. You've done so much for everybody. I want to.
Thank you, Nobility, because, as everyone knows, we do not take Federal Reserve debt notes. We don't take that. We only accept delirium, gold, and silver, period. And we prefer delirium over gold and silver. Justice Morpheus brought something up. He says, instead of person, can we edit it as natural person? Yes. And remember, we have, on our fiduciary documents, we've taken complete dominion over person, over any person that we use to get the credits and things that we need. Okay. Yes, we can do that here.
Islam again, I'm sorry. I'm still
Islam, brother. Yes, you can put it on Scribe. You can create a Scribe account, and or Camilio is another place you could post your instruments, affidavits, and writs on the public records as such. And there is a way you could create a page for you to create on Facebook, and so you just got to do a little bit more due diligence, but you can create a page or join the many Facebook pages that are already created. Like Light has one, Swampomac has one. There's different ones around that has ways that you can post on the public record as well. Islam.
Mm-hmm. Islam. Thank you, Empress.
Islam. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Islam.
Yes, they can be social media. You can create a new page as a group and create it as a group. And when you create the page as a group page, then you can upload documents to it. And just call it, Moorishe American Public Records page or Moorishe American Consulate Public Records page. You can call it that if you want to call it that. There's so many of those pages out there that Moorishe have created, and we're so excited about that. Because there's a bunch of Moorishe American Consulate pages that have popped up all over. So you can create one and upload your documents there. You can also do a YouTube channel and just put your documents. You don't have to say anything or be in front of the camera or anything. You can just, put them on YouTube.
Islam.
Just show them on YouTube.
I'm sorry. I have created a YouTube because I couldn't do it on Facebook. I created one, Raymond Bayl, lowercase, no, everything, but they want me to do a video. I don't want to do videos. There's no place to put anything other than, if you want to just put documents, you have to do a video, according to what I read.
Yeah, you do have to do a video, but the way that you can do it is the way that we do it. Like, we just take our phone and we just show the document. You don't even have to say that. You don't even have to say anything. You can just show the document, show that it's been autographed and has your right red thumbprint on it and that it's on government letterhead, and put that video right up on YouTube. And it can be a 2-minute video showing your document. That's putting it on the public record. That makes it official.
Islam. Thank you.
Islam. And for those who you know, some may think that you know, they may doubt that makes it official. Let's just show really quickly that does make it official. Let's see, Thursday, Congress. Here, we'll just use this. We went over this on Thursday about what makes something, and we just want to take a minute to do this, just so because I think this is really important about documents. One moment. Okay. On the screen it says proving an official record, because some people don't think that social media and all of that is official. It's official if the sovereigns do it. And we say this is official record. Or we intend for it to be an official record. It says here proving an official record. The means of proving that a record is official, where domestic records are concerned, each of the following evidences an official record or an entry into an official record that is otherwise admissible, and that means admissible in a court, and is kept within the states united or any state, district, or commonwealth, or any territory subject to the administrative or judicial jurisdiction of the United States or states united, because we would take this and put this in red. It says an official publication of the record, period. So when you publish it, it's official. So there it is, an official publication of the record. And then there's these others. It says a copy attested by the officer with legal custody of the record. Who is the officers? We are, or by the officer's deputy, and accompanied by a certificate that the officer has custody. Certified return receipts are considered certificates. The certificate must be made under seal. Under seal means you sealed it with your right red thumbprint. Your document seals your document with the right red thumbprint, or put government seals on your document. And then by a judge of a court of record. We're the justices. All of our documents, and again, all of our documents are court action. In the district or political subdivision where the record is kept. That's us. Or by any public officer with a seal of office and with official duties in the district or public or political subdivision where the record is kept. So all of those are us. And we have the authority. That's how you prove that your record is official. So publishing it on YouTube makes it official because you're an official. Okay. So, yeah, someone put something in the chat about ScriptD. I don't use them just because I don't want to do sovereign credits with them. Anybody who's saying that there's something that has to be paid every month, I prefer to do things without having to do those exchanges. So everything and it works. Everything that we do, we put it out there. Because see, to me, if that's our resource, and it is, then I should be able to send them an affidavit and some delarium, and that do it. And that's where we're going with all of this, and that's why the charters and the constitutions are so important. Because even for, and I'll just use ScriptD as an example since it's in the chat. If wherever their office is located, there's a constitution that covers that territory. and that's why we're putting the Constitution, the territorial constitutions on the public record, so that when we notify resources like that by in writing, by affidavit, and we send them Delarium, they're supposed to activate that resource, either Delarium or sovereign credit. Okay. So we did change persons. There's a couple of other things that we could change in here. Here we put natural person. And if any, and it says here, natural person being the highest bidder, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Let me see. We will I'll show you the final of this will be placed on the public record sometime this week. And by final, all I mean is that I'm going to put it, a few more of the sections in ancient English, okay? And then another change is we'll be changing the word act to law. So that instead of this being an act concerning the mode of surveying the public lands, it'll be a law concerning the mode of surveying the public lands. And then where it says United States, this is going to be, it'll be just like that. Or it could be a lowercase u and an uppercase s, or it can be in capitals. Either way, it's still us, because no foreign entity even exists called the United States. It doesn't exist. It was fraud. We're the original United States. But we're also the original French. We're also the original Spanish. We're also the original European. We're also the original of we were first everywhere. So, and then these dates will be changed to, let's see, this says passed on the 11th day of February, 1805. On the third day. So these are the kinds of changes that I'll be making instead of the date. And this will be 1443. So I will go through and just edit it a little bit with regard to those words in the ancient English, and I'll remove some of the capitalization, like those words. So there'll be a final editing of the document before it goes on the public record. Are there any objections to my final putting some final edits to the document? You put UK nobility. Yes, thank you for that. And for those that are on the other land, put United Kingdom. You all would put United Kingdom there in blue, because that's you. If that other stuff doesn't exist and they know it, that's why they done boarded up everything over there that they were claiming. And all the other lands, the islands, put your islands there, unless it's an island that is a dominion of the of this land. Okay. You all can use the same document. Okay. And we will put this one on the public record this week. Are there any other changes that you all can see that need to be made on the document? Any other changes as we were reading through it? And also, if you need more time, if you want more time to look at the law, we can put it in the chat if you want more time to look at it. It's in comparison to the documents that we do, 56 pages, 57 pages. This one is 2 pages, so it didn't really come out to be that extensive. but we wanted to cherry pick this part so that we can start using our delarium and the constitutions and the charters that we're putting on the public record. Where do you put the date when you send a court action? Down here at the bottom, Empress, at Chronos. Now for ours, we're doing everything so that it is retroactive for our ancestors and for us. But Chronos, we would normally put a date here. This one, if it's approved by you all, then we would put it down here at the bottom, at the end. It would say approved on this date, and then you would leave it time immemorial. Okay. Yeah, we'll put the date that it's approved by this Congress, and then we'll put it on. Sure. Let's take a vote on that, Justice Yakub. Justice Yakub has put something in the chat. He says, yes, more time will be good. We prepare the final read over in Thursday. Is there anyone else who wants to wait until Thursday so that after I've done all the editing, we can put it on the public record at that time? Is there anyone else who wants to wait until Thursday? Because we do need to take a vote on, since he's put it on the floor, to wait. We want to honor what he's saying and
Islam?
Islam.
Yes, that would be a very good idea, to wait till Thursday.
Islam.
I give the floor back.
So that's 3, 4 that they wait until Thursday.
Islam. Justice Malik Kilbay, I think it'd be an excellent idea as well that we wait.
Islam.
Oh, yeah.
5, 6, Islam. And I'm okay with waiting also. I'm in agreement with waiting until Thursday to put it on the public record as well.
And Bay, I'm okay with waiting. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Any other Congress members want to yay or nay? Any want to put it on the record today and then let the edits be done? Anyone else? Is there anyone in objection to this, to waiting until Thursday? Are there any objections to that? And please don't feel, obligated to go with, that this is a congressional meeting. Everyone has a vote and a voice. In the chat, there's several, 7, who have said that Thursday is fine. And there's really no rush on it. It's going to be not so chunk anyway. In other words, now to then. So those who are doing the demonstration, go ahead and do your demonstration. Is there anyone, again, in objection to waiting until Thursday to put this on the public record so that we can go ahead and make the final edits and things like that to the document? Islam, another yes in the chat for waiting until Thursday.
Islam.
And there are no
wait till Thursday. I said, yay, we can wait till Thursday. Though today's a power day, and so is Thursday. So just had to put that out there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, indeed. Any objections? So far, it's unanimous for waiting until Thursday. Okay. There are no objections to waiting until Thursday, so we will wait until Thursday to put this on the public record, and I'll do the final, the edits and things like that, and then we'll go over it again on Thursday, which is, I feel very comfortable with that process. and then we'll go over it on Thursday. And if you all see any changes that need to be made to the ones that we will make, just let us know. And then we'll take, at that time, place it on the table again.
Islam.
Yes, Islam. No, there we go.
I have a question, not pertaining to what you were speaking about, the ballot. Your living birth certificate. I did it today, and it printed it and came out. Since I did all the rest of the 6 Supremes, I started doing the others, and this one didn't have the seals on them. Is there one where I can find one with the seal on it? Your living birth affidavit?
You can actually copy and paste the seals on there.
Okay, I'm not quite familiar how to do that, but I guess I can look into it and see how to do that.
Yeah, so any of the other documents that have the seals on it, just take them and copy them, screen capture them or copy them and paste them onto your document. That's what those seals are for. And then your white red thumbprint and your wet ink autograph will be the real seal, but then you'll have the government seals on there also. We made the seals so that people could copy and paste them. Also, under each and every video, there's a separate link to the seals, to each one of the seals, where you can pull the original file and copy and paste it on and insert it onto your document. Okay. Under each video that we do, there's the seals are there. On Lights Jury Bay channel on YouTube. Okay. There's a question in the chat: when shall sovereign accounts be available? They're already available. Have you created your account? Because you have to create your own record first. And then if you want to send a link to me for your account, you can do that, and then we'll create a corresponding account here over on at our bank, at our moorishe bank. We'll create a corresponding one. And we showed you all how to create your accounts. We're using, we are using, here, let me go to it.
Google Sheets.
Yes. Yes. I'll just go to it here on the screen. So that you can see yes, we're using Google Sheets because you can share the information and also protect the information.
Islam. So that's what you meant the other time you spoke about the accounts. If you had sent emails, correspondence with you, that if the email is already generated through you, you will create an account with that information?
Yes. So yes. So what you'll do is you'll get your account. You start your account. You initiate it, and then you send the link in the email to us, and we will initiate the account on our end. Okay. So whenever you go to Google, even if you're just going onto the internet and you're signed into your Google account, there's these right here in the upper right corner, there's 9 dots. And when you click on those 9 dots, you're going to see Google Sheets right there. You just click on Google Sheets and you can start here. It says start a new spreadsheet. You want to go ahead and click on that, and a blank sheet will come up. And you can put the title to your account here, and all of that, and the entries and all of that. And when you do that, when our bank gets the link to the account, I mean, not the link to the account, but the link to your spreadsheet, we will create the account over here on our end, and then we'll put, again, the trust amount will be showing, which all Moors get $100 million in their trust account. And that trust account is not for your everyday purchases. You'll have other things for your everyday purchases, other dollarium for that. So, and then we always want to make sure that our bank records and your records match for the most part, with the exception of anything that the bank does. Okay. But yeah, you start your spreadsheet, and then you send us a link. And when we do the spreadsheet, we will send you a link back to it so that you can look at your bank records online anytime. But the reason we have you started and initiated first is because if, for example, a set of records goes down or the internet goes down, you can use Google Sheets offline. So you never lose your banking information. And then Google Sheets online, you can just, the links that we send, you can even look at it on your phone. You can look at your account on your phone. So you can look at it on your phone, you can look at it on your laptop, or whatever it is that you use to access the internet. So you can see your banking information at any time. Okay. And then as you start making your purchases, your daily purchases, you can keep track of them either on a separate page of your bank account, but the bank account that we set up are for the larger purchases and also for the trust account, because the government automatically puts the $100 million in your trust account when you open your account. And to show that you open your account, you just send a link to, and the link will be, will have the information that you want on there. Okay. And then if we need any other information, we'll call or email you. Okay. So we're moving along with the banking piece. We need to ensure that we can bank within our own nation first, and then do all that we're doing internationally. We can start banking internationally. But we have to show competence at banking within our own nation first. And that is what today was all about. Today is all about continuing to expand on our banking capabilities, our economic viability as a nation, knowing that the land is ours. Putting the competent laws in place, that's so important, because our nobility is not assumed, it's proven. We have to prove that we are the nobility by our level of competence. And when I say prove that, I mean, our bloodline proves who we are. We're not saying who we are. We're saying that we are the nobility on the land. We know we're the heirs, okay? But to prove nobility is proven, it's not assumed. Okay, and when you show that you're competent at governing the vast estate, that proves that, yes, we are exactly who we say we are. Because anything that was done out there before, we can do it. I heard someone say that one time, that nobility is proven, it's not assumed. And that made so much sense to me when I thought about what we have to do, because we can't just sit and do nothing and let a corporation pretend to be us. We have to do it. And that's what this is all about. So we'll meet again on Thursday. But yes, this is, and then this is the spreadsheet, and then you would just copy and paste the link and send the link over to us. In the government to the government@gmail.com. And when you send it to the government@gmail.com, we will open your account then. And please be patient with us. We are very, very, very short on administrative help. We're doing the best we can. And so, you know, and we get so many emails. And we appreciate every last one of them. We love them. Keep them coming. We love them. We get so many emails, so we can't always respond immediately. We're going through as quickly as we possibly can, and then some days we just stop for a minute to breathe. So we just need to keep doing what we're doing. So we see that there are some changes that are being made, and some things are changing, you know, out here in the ethers. Things are changing in preparation for what we're doing. So with that being said, are there any other questions or comments? Did I leave anything out?
Empress, I have one question. The six steps actions of notice, is that on the Google Docs drive, or is there a video where you discuss that you could direct me to a date of a video?
Yes. Just one moment. I'll put the link to the video in the chat.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can make just one comment, there's a particular piece about you that is very necessary. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nobility. We actually work on it. We work on it. We definitely work on being peaceful. It's so important. It's very, very important for us to do that. Yes, here it is. Okay. Okay. Here is the link in the chat, and what you'll do is you'll go to minute 49:50. Minute 49 at the 50th second, and that will put you right where those six are put on the screen. The six actions are on the screen.
Islam, thank you. I don't see it yet, though, but, oh, there it is.
Yes, there it is, yes.
Thank you. Islam.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Nobility. Are there any other questions or comments, anything else that we can provide? Okay. Okay. Well, with that being said, I think we have talked about everything that we need to discuss today. So we will meet again on Thursday and finish up and put the documents forward on the table for a vote before this honorable Congress, this intelligent, awesome, extremely wealthy congressional delegation or legation. And and we'll go from there. Okay. So with that being said, peace and brand rising to the sovereign and Caribbean indigenous national divine is. Islam.
Islam.
Rising.
Islam. Islam.
Peace and love to the more.
Islam. And we will end in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Islam.
Islam is the